Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, I'm Lydia, and this is the first F1 Pop Culture Roundup on YouTube. If F1 Pop Culture Roundup, the name of that rings a bell to you, then you potentially may have seen this already on TikTok about 2 years ago. This was a weekly series I used to make over on TikTok. People seemed to really love it. I was doing it for quite a while and then I had to stop for a combination of reasons. I had a little bit of F1 fatigue. I was fighting, still am, the TikTok algorithm a little bit, and so the output wasn't really matching the input because I was spending a lot of time putting all the things together for it. However, after going back and forth in my head, I decided I wanted to make some longer form F1 content for YouTube, and I had a light bulb moment that this series might be perfect in a longer format, because previously I was trying to cram everything into I don't think we had the 10-minute feature, so I was trying to do it at least under 3 minutes, and if you know F1, you know a lot of stuff happens. So there wasn't much time to talk about each thing because I just had to get everything in there. So I think this format might work better. If you need a reminder of what this series entails, or you're new and you're just curious, essentially it's just a big collection of off-track moments that are happening in the F1 and F1 adjacent worlds. One, as a way to stay up to date with everything that's going on, because sometimes it can get a little hectic. And two, because the pop culture-y side of F1 is my favourite part. I love it. It's just going to be a place where the F1 girlies can get together and chat. And when I say F1 girlies, this is not gender specific, okay? Being an F1 girly is a state of mind. If you like talking about this side of F1, you like the fashion side of F1, then you're an F1 girly, okay? Welcome. What this won't be is gossip. I'm not here to start rumours. I'm not here to talk about their love lives in great detail. That's not my thing. We have much more pressing matters, quite frankly. An example of which, one of today's subjects, is hair. Yeah, I'll let you sit on that one for a while. We'll get to it. So welcome to the revived and slightly revamped F1 Pop Culture Roundup. I'm so excited! She is back from the dead. And as you can see, I have a microphone. Yes, I am taking this very seriously. This is very serious journalism, okay? If you are new to me and my content, welcome. It's nice to have you. I don't want to spend too much time talking about me in this video because we have so much to get through. It's gonna take a while. So if you do want to get to know me a little bit, there is a section in my last video where I kind of go over all the things I like, all the F1 things I like, so feel free to go and watch that at your leisure. I'll link it in the description. But the most important thing you need to know about me is I love this side of F1. I love talking about all the off-track stuff, and I love to yap. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we fully get into our many topics we need to discuss today. Inevitably, at some point, some biases, is it just biases or is it biases? Maybe I should have googled this first. But inevitably some biases will crop up because that is the nature of Formula 1. I have favourite drivers, I have favourite tracks, we all do. That's just how this sport works. We all like different things and that's okay. Repeat after me. We all have different favourite drivers and that's okay. This is a nice safe space. I don't want anyone to be mean to anyone else. If I don't cover one person in particular and that happens to be your favourite driver, it's not because I hate them. I don't, in fact, hate any of them. Naturally, some of them just give us more content than others. So there'll be more I talk about rather than others, and that's just what happens, unfortunately. Additionally, I'm probably going to miss some stuff out that happens week to week. I'm just a girl. I'm just trying my best. Sorry in advance. If there is anything I've missed out that you really want discussed, or you feel like is very important, or you just want to tell me, you missed this, girl. Honestly, I need to know sometimes because maybe I just didn't see it. And it could be really important. Always tell me and I'll just pop it into the next one. I actually realised yesterday one of the reasons why I got overwhelmed with this series in the first place is because so much happens in the world of F1. I'll pick a cut-off day where I'm like, right, okay, I'm not including anything after this day because I need to sit down and film. Something really important will happen. Like, for example, my cut-off day was 2 days ago. And then we got the first pictures of Lewis at Ferrari. So, and what do you mean? I'm not going to include that? No. So that had to be swiftly added to the list, the ongoing list of stuff. So I'm just going to say it right now. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of January. And this probably will go up Thursday or Friday. So if anything happens today, Thursday or Friday, obviously it will go in the next one. It will not be included in this one. But I think that's all the housekeeping. So, without further ado, let's go! The first thing I would like to discuss is logo discourse. I feel like we have this conversation at least once a season, if not more, but it seems to have been amped up by the new kids on the grid. We have 5 rookies on the grid in 2025, which means 5 new logos that get to grace our presence. So I first saw the discourse because of Liam Lawson's logo, that has subsequently turned out not to even be Liam Lawson's logo, but we will get to that in a second. Firstly, let's go through all the kiddos' logos. One thing there is to know about me is I love a nickname. So there's a lot of nicknames that get brought up. And I'm calling all the rookies kiddos because they're all younger than me and it makes me feel weird. It makes me feel very... Some of them are even younger than my brother. Kimmy's logo. It's just his name. It tells you exactly what it is on the tin, I guess. Same with Isaac, actually. They're both, Kimmy and Isaac, have just got their names. I'm feeling like maybe as time goes on, they establish themselves a little bit. Maybe they'll give them an update at some point. Who knows? Next, Mr. Dewan. It's his initials. I like it. It's kind of cool, but it's not groundbreaking. It does the job. Gabrielle's. Are we saying Gabrielle, Gabriel? I kind of want to say Gabrielle. I think that's what we're saying. I maybe should be calling them by their last name, but we're on a first name basis over here at LiveLaughLyds. I like this one. There's a little bit more going on. Got a swishy font. That's unusual because a lot of the F1 logos are very, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I want to say rigid, but I don't think that's the right word. They're just very harsh, like liney. Wow. I need to go back to school and learn some more descriptive words. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They're all like very there's edges. Ugh. This one, it's flowy. I like it. And I think they're wings on the side. I don't know if that represents anything, but I like it. Ollie Behrman. Ollie. Now, I'm not just saying this because he is going to be my rookie I'm going to support in 2025, but this logo is bloody brilliant. I love this logo. I love it. I love it a lot. It's different. It adds character. And I just love this for him. It's perfect. It's a little bear. Now we've done rookies. Let's move on to Liam, the guy that started all this discourse in the first place. Essentially, this is what I think has happened. I don't know if this logo has been his logo or someone just decided that that was his logo. I'm unsure on that. It's unclear. However, it was put everywhere that this was his logo for 2025, and the jokes started to write themselves that it looked basically like Lando had gone, yeah, sure, you can copy my homework, but just change it a little bit. But it has actually recently come to all of our attentions, or at least mine, that this isn't his logo for 2025. This is. And I'm sorry, but what a way to shut everyone up, because this is spectacular. I think it has personality. I think it's fun. It's very different. It's got colour. It's got colour! And you know what I think it's good for? I think it's really good for merch purposes. It's very merchable. And I think whoever came up with that on Team Liam had that in the back of their head when they were doing it. I know people are slightly upset that the logo doesn't include something Lightning McQueen related, because we all know he's a massive fan of cars and Lightning McQueen. But as it goes, I still think this is good. So well done, Liam. You get a little round of applause from me. On the whole of logos, I think Lando's will always be my favourite, purely because it's quite clever. George's is in the same vein, but I think Lando's is executed better. Max's is good. I like Max's actually. And you know what? All 3 of those, I feel like you look at them and they give the vibe of the driver that they belong to. Does that make any sense? Let me know in the comments which driver you think has the best logo. We can hash it out in the comments below. Next thing up for discussion is LVMH times F1. Mostly because this has some subsections to it, so it just needs to be discussed. So in October, it was announced that LVMH and Formula One had entered into a 10-year partnership. If you're unfamiliar with LVMH, they are a luxury goods conglomerate. They own/run a big number of luxury brands, the likes of which are Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, Loewe, Moët, Marc Jacobs, Tiffany's, Sephora, Stella McCartney, Tag Heuer. The list goes on and on and on and on. The next thing I'm going to say is either really going to solidify the audience I have here, or it's going to be lost on some people, and that's okay. But if anyone watches and loves Emily in Paris as much as I do, and this isn't the only Emily in Paris related thing that's going to get shared in today's video, Minty's boyfriend, Nicolas de Leon, his family business that he's involved in with his dad and everything, basically LVMH. That show is so funny for like taking real existing brands and things and like changing them slightly. I think in the show it's actually called JVMH. Is it? I don't know. But that whole situation with like Pierre Cardin, all of that, basically LVMH. This partnership was big for a number of reasons, but we are already seeing this take effect in the last couple of weeks. So it was announced that Tag Heuer are going to take over from Rolex as the timekeepers of Formula One. I just need to say, is it Tag Heuer? I've heard it said many different ways, and the only reason I'm saying Heuer is because I'm sure that's what the commentators say in Formula E, because one of the teams is sponsored by them, and that's where I've heard it, so that's what I'm repeating. If it's wrong, you tell me, but I feel like it's one of those where people pronounce it differently. So I'm going to carry on saying Heuer unless proved otherwise. And that's that. Yeah, no more big Rolex clock. We're getting Tag Heuer instead. And actually, when I went on their website the other day, they have a whole Formula One collection. You can get I think it was like $5,000, but you can get a Oracle Red Bull Racing watch if you really wanted. Just letting you know. If anyone's in the market for a $5,000 watch, there you go. The next thing is not completely confirmed. I'm just telling you this. Here I was saying I'm not gossiping or whatever, but I don't think it's gossip. I think it's gonna happen, and I'm just telling you early that Champagne is probably going to be returning to the podium. Now you may be thinking, Lydia, Champagne always gets sprayed on the podium. Well, Ferrari Trento, which for the last I think 3 or 4 years has been the podium spray of choice, isn't actually champagne. It's sparkling wine. I actually learnt that from F1 Tony. I think she did a video on it like 2 years ago, and I was like, huh, well, the more you know. But yeah, as I said, this hasn't actually been announced yet, I don't think. But in my very serious professional journalistic opinion, it's probably going to be announced. Purely, I'm saying this based on the fact that the M in LVMH stands for Moët. So you'd like to think that Moët will be taking over for the podium celebrations. One could assume. Anyway, so if that's the case, we'll have Champers back on the podium. Woo! Next, we are going to talk about the brand partnership between Adidas and Mercedes. Again, I say Adidas. I know some people say Adidas. I'm not changing what I say. I've said Adidas since I was a child, so if you don't like it, you'll just have to get over it. Now, as far as I'm aware, Adidas is not an LVMH brand, but I'm including it in this section because I just think it, like, you have to just stay with me for a second. It kind of just fits into this brand partnerships bubble. When I saw this announcement, my initial reaction was, it was intrigue more than anything else, because for the longest time, the brand I would associate quite closely with Mercedes was Tommy Hilfiger. One vibe is not entirely like the other, you know? And we have had the first sightings of what the Adidas times Mercedes partnership will look like, courtesy of our boy George Russell, affectionately known over here at LiveLaughLyds as Grossel. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Grossel rocked a bit of Tommy. I feel like it matched the vibe he was trying to give off really well. He went for those like preppy outfits. He looked good. He had a brand. He stuck to it. So I wasn't entirely sure what Grossel times Mercedes was going to look like, or whether it was going to fit that well-curated aesthetic he had going on. However, he has treated us to some classic Grossel imagery whilst being in the Adidas attire. So who knows what could happen? I remain intrigued at this point. I'm just going to let it play out and we can talk about it more when I see more looks. I need to see more to fully form an opinion at this point in time. Going back to the LVMH of it all, Stella McCartney is one of the LVMH brands, and she once upon a time did an Adidas collab. Hello, Editing Lydia here, just to say that this collab still exists. I don't know why I thought it was past tense, so I reckon we will see a continuation of that collab this year. The next thing I was going to discuss kind of came under the subsection of LVMH, but in the last few days, he always is, but he really has become a section of his own. So we will move on to Sir Lewis Hamilton. Sir Lewis is affectionately known over here at LiveLaughLyds as Sir Drips-a-lot, also known as Sir Drip mostly, because he is the definition of paddock fashion, as we know. And I have so many questions surrounding Sir Lewis's paddock fashion in 2025. In my notes, I have actually put, we're yet to see any Lewis times Ferrari anything. Untrue now. This is what I mean about everything getting a bit hectic, because we have now. We are going to talk about that. But I've put, we don't really know what it's going to look like yet. We do now, and it's going to look great. One question I have, and I keep coming back to, are Ferrari going to change our drivers must wear our team kit into the paddock every day policy for Lewis Hamilton? Because who are they to deny him of his paddock fashion moments? Do you know what I mean? There is no way they're going to turn around to Lewis and say, oh, by the way, you must wear Ferrari team kit every single day. Because not only does he always come into the paddock looking incredible, but he also has his own merch. He has +44 World. Are they going to not let him do that? I just can't see them saying no to Sir Lewis Hamilton. In addition to that, does that mean if they allow this for Lewis, they will allow it for Charles? Because famously, he has wanted to start a clothing brand or something like that, and he's been denied this opportunity. So now I'm like, well, if they allow it for Lewis, will they allow it for Charles? Will we get to see some Charles Leclerc merch or clothes? I don't know. I don't really know what he envisions, so therefore I don't know what I envision. But whatever it is, I want to see it, because I just don't think they could say yes to one and not the other. So I'm kind of excited about that, because I'm thinking maybe this just opens doors. Ooh! And we'll have so many more things to talk about. My other Lewis fashion question is, will he wear Ferrari style? If you're unfamiliar with Ferrari style, oh my gosh, maybe I need to do an entire deep dive on this brand company. I could talk about them for days. I would be so interested to see him in Ferrari style. I'm more interested in what future collections of Ferrari style will look like, with them having knowledge that Lewis was going to be with them in 2025. As a fashion lover, this is just very personal to me, and I just can't wait for Fashion Week. Let me know if you want a Ferrari style deep dive, because I will get going on that. So let's talk about the big stuff. We have seen the first pictures of Lewis at Ferrari. Literally everyone's story as I clicked through was that image of him stood outside. He looked incredible. Subsequently, we've seen his helmet. It's yellow. It looks so good. We've seen him in the red suit. It feels really real now. The visuals that have been put out in the last few days, chef's kiss. I wondered what the vibe would be with Lewis and Ferrari, and we've been told. We have been shown what the vibe is going to be, and I love it. I love it. And I don't think you have to be a Ferrari fan or even a Lewis fan to appreciate how fantastic it's been to see all these pictures over the last few days. I think everyone can appreciate this. The suit. Let's just go back to the suit for a minute, because the suit was a full suit, tie and everything, but with this cape coat looking thing draped over his shoulders. Oh, off the scales, incredible. I mean, did we expect anything less from Sir Lewis Hamilton? Sir Drip, king of paddock fashion? No, we did not. There's in no way did I not think he was going to look phenomenal. But actually seeing it, one thing Lewis and I have in common, we both look great in red. In more Lewis news, he has a new tattoo. He's got a 1111 1111 situation on his neck. 1111's always that time where people make a wish. So I feel like that's quite symbolic. And actually, which is a coincidence, 111, the angel number, is on my vision board, and it represents a new beginning. So maybe this is why he's gone for that. I think his is actually 1111, but 1 is a very significant number. 111, angel number for new beginnings. Interesting. Finally, in Lewis news, guess who's back in Team LH? Angela is back. Well, that's what the rumours have been saying, that she is back with Lewis for his first season at Ferrari. Welcome back to the paddock, Angela Cullen. We love Angela. So that wraps up Lewis chat. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings about Lewis times Ferrari, please, because the pictures we have got over the last few days, they have just been a delight for the eyes. Next discussion topic. It's very important. Might be the most important thing we discussed today, and that is hair. We have a few hair things to go through. The first hair thing that got brought to my attention was no hair Pierre. I made a TikTok all about this subject matter because I opened my Instagram app, I saw no hair Pierre, I was like, sorry? I'm sure we all saw the picture. When I saw it, I thought, I need another angle of this. I think we've had a couple of pictures actually since, and at least one video. And you know what? I think he pulls it off. I think he looks good. Next, Liam Lawson, who has been sporting a new Barnet. At first, I didn't recognise him. I saw videos of, I think it was Red Bull New Zealand had put up videos up, and I just scrolled right past because I did not recognise him. I then saw TikTok videos of people talking about his hair, and I was like, wait, that was Liam? That was Liam Lawson? No way. So I went back, I watched the Red Bull New Zealand videos, and I was like, oh my god, it's Liam Lawson. Again, I think he looks good. I've seen a lot of people making comparisons, saying he looks a little bit like Jensen Button. It's giving Jensen energy. He's in his Jensen era, and I'm here for it. Now, George. George. I opened Instagram. I saw a George picture. My immediate reaction was, oh, he's reposted an old picture. We're doing a Throwback Thursday situation. I then saw a Mercedes repost of that George picture, and I thought, what do you mean this is a new image? What do you mean this is a brand new image and not one that's been reposted from like 2 years ago? I then scrolled back to the George post. I saw the Adidas tracksuit, and I was like, oh my god, he's cut his hair off. The curls are gone. What? Russell's hair looked great. He had that Prince hair. He had like the curly Prince hair going on. It really went with his aesthetic. He looked great. George. I sound like Alex Albon. George! Do we think they all subscribe to the idea that hair holds energy? Potentially. I do. Have any of you had a New Year hair chop? Do I need to do that too? Are we just all cutting our hair at the start of 2025? Maybe. One more hair thing though that's not gone anywhere, and I'm very pleased about it. Lando's mullet. When he first cut the mullet, I was like, oh. I was like, oh. Am I a Lando girl now? That'll do it. Speaking of Mr. Norris, who maybe he isn't Mr. Norris anymore, but we are now going to move into the more miscellaneous section of this where like nothing really has a category. It's happened and we need to talk about it. Lando is now just Lando. His Instagram handle is Sans Norris. It's just Lando. I personally think it's quite an iconic move. It looks good, especially when you tag. When he's been tagged in something, it just says Lando. We also got a Lando log recently. A Lando log about the last win of the season, like winning the constructors and everything. And it was really cute. It really just kind of at the same time made me angry watching it because I was like, bring back McLaren Unboxed. Bring back whatever the Ferrari McLaren Unboxed was called and the Williams one. And Red Bull did one at one point. I was like, bring them back. Because this, when I was watching it, I was like, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. And they were taken away from us because they didn't want things to be taken away from Drive to Survive. Eye roll. Big eye roll. You know why I have a big eye roll to that? Because they don't even include everything we'd want to see in Drive to Survive. So I'm like, was it taking away anything from Drive to Survive? No. They're just jealous that the McLaren box and everything were better. Well, make your TV show better then. You're on Netflix. You have a big budget. Come on now. Should I start a petition for them to allow the team content to come back? Because that Lando log was so good. There's clearly a way around it if they're allowed to do it. So I'm like, couldn't they just film more Lando logs? Like Carlos has one. What's Carlos's called? Something about being blinked. Unblinked? No. No blinks. It's something about blinking. Charles does one too. Danny used to have some when he was on the grid. Maybe they should just get the drivers, or like the drivers to do it, but like the teams film it, but it goes out on the driver channels. Maybe that's a loophole. If any teams are watching, hello, I've just given you your loophole. You're welcome. Williams had a nickname competition, poll, don't really know what to call it, but they ran a poll to determine what their driver name combination is going to be for 2025, and the winner was Carbon. I want to say it like Carbon instead of Carbon, because Alex Albon. I also just don't think Carbon it doesn't sound that good, but Carbon kind of sounds cute. I'm not fully sure how I feel about the team dictating this or like running this competition, because I feel like in the past the driver combo nicknames have been quite fan-led, or like they've come quite organically. I don't think the teams have like forced any of them down us. Maybe they have and I just never noticed it, but I'm pretty sure like Charlos and Yuki came from the fans rather than the teams, and then the teams just started using it as well. But Carbon it is. Williams also announced a car launch date. They announced a car launch date, and you may be thinking, Lydia, what about F1 75 Live? That's still happening. Williams have announced that they are launching the 2025 car with a one-off livery on Valentine's Day. I know who my Valentine's Day is. And then on the 18th at F1 75 Live, they're revealing the 2025 livery. Now, I'm sure you're all shouting at me through the screen, Lydia, what does this mean for the LiveLaughLyds Car Launch Championship of 2025? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know, because I wasn't expecting this. I thought it was all just going to be happening at F1 75 Live. Clearly not. Because Williams just said, surprise! And I was like, what? I've decided I'm waiting to see what the other teams do in the coming weeks, if they announce things, before I decide exactly what the Car Launch Championship is going to look like this year. Because it's going to be different, I think. It's going to be different. But if Williams are doing 2 launches, then they're going to get bonus points from me. That's for sure. I'm also still waiting on an invitation to F1 75 Live. I just feel like, as the self-proclaimed #1 car launch critic, I should be there. I need to be boots on the ground for the people. You know, very serious journalism and all. I have a microphone now. This is serious. So to all the sponsors, organisers, teams, please someone make this happen. I will never ask for anything ever again. Just this one thing. Pretty please with a cherry on top. Someone can make this happen. I know. And look, I'll say it again. I've said it every year of the Car Launch Championship. If a team invites me, they get extra bonus points in the Car Launch Championship. You know what to do. Next, Doing Okay. Jack Doohan's merch brand. One of the best named F1 adjacent merch brands there is. Doing Okay. That is so good. They're launching something on the 27th of January. So that's 5 days away as of today right now. So by the time this goes up, it's maybe like 3 days away, which is very exciting. I don't know what it's going to be, but they put this post up. Who knows? Maybe it's a little 2025 collection. Max has been playing cricket with the England cricket team. I wasn't going to include this because I didn't know if it was that important, but it's very personal to me. If you're not aware, I'm a massive cricket fan. So it's not the first time there's been an F1 times cricket thing, but they are few and far between. So when they do happen, I'm like, they did this for me. They absolutely did this for me. So thank you, Red Bull. And you know what? he was alright. He was pretty good. I feel like this is the general thing that happens with sports people. They're so competitive and, you know, they're high performance athletes. They just want to be good at everything, so they're really going to try. And he was good. So thank you, Red Bull, for that, because I know you did. I know you guys did that for me, and I loved it. Now, a couple of F1 adjacent things, because they're not directly tied to current Formula One drivers, but Valtteri continuing to be an icon, even off the grid. I don't know if you've seen these videos that have been posted over the last couple of days, but he's so funny. I am going to miss him in the paddock so much. He is such an icon. He is so funny. I have no idea what this means or what it's doing or what's going to happen for him next. What's next? We don't know. But whatever it is, I love it. Mr. Will Buxton is going to be doing the IndyCar commentary in 2025. I don't know if he's like fully leaving F1 TV. In his Instagram caption, he kind of was like, I'll be watching from my sofa for now. So I think the door's open for him to return, but he's moving to IndyCar. He's doing the IndyCar broadcasting in 2025. I am a big IndyCar fan, but I've never seen Will do anything like this because I watch Sky Sports. So I've never seen him on F1 TV. So when I tune into IndyCar this year, this is going to be my first real look at Will Buxton doing broadcasting instead of Will Buxton being Will Buxton on Drive to Survive. If you're not an IndyCar fan, you probably won't know this, but IndyCar have changed networks this year. They've gone from, I think, NBC to Fox, and Fox are doing a whole load of new marketing for it and everything. So I think it's going to be a little bit different vibes. I'm very interested to see what it's going to be like when we tune in. I'm excited, and I'm excited to see Will do his thing. And last but not least, Checo's dad presented a trophy at the Formula E the other week. Why? I don't really know. But I'm watching it, and then all of a sudden, on one side is Checo's dad. On the other side is Lucien Laviscount, also known as Alfie from Emily in Paris. Oh yeah, Checo's dad handed out a trophy. Lucien was there to like congratulate the winners and everything. And I was like, what an odd crossover right now. This is a really odd crossover. Anything that involves Alfie from Emily in Paris, Lucien, I'm watching. And the fact that he was there at the Formula E, again, very personal to me. A lot of very personal things have been happening. A lot of like Lydia's favourite things crossing over have been going on, and I'm like, thanks guys for doing this for me. It makes me so happy. And I actually have it on really good authority that he's just as nice in real life as he is on Emily in Paris. Wowzers. That was a lot, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. That's what happens in F1 world, everybody. I'm almost positive I've probably missed things, forgotten things, etc. I'm Only Human. Alexa, play Only Human by the Jonas Brothers. I don't think every single one of these is going to be this long. Honestly, the content will dictate how long these videos are. If we don't get that much stuff in a week, they'll be really short. If we get loads of stuff, it's going to be like 40 minutes long. Grab a beverage. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those. You just need to sit down, grab a drink, grab a snack, and watch at your leisure. I hope you enjoyed the first revived F1 Pop Culture Roundup. I feel like I was right in the fact that this serves quite well as long form, because I'm able to talk about things in more detail, which is nice, rather than trying to cram everything in. Because like I could break this down into 20 different TikToks, and like maybe I will, but something about having it all in one space feels quite nice to me. You'll have to let me know if I'm fully correct in that opinion. If you made it this far, I love you. Thank you for being a very dedicated F1 pop culture roundup-er. If you have made it this far, drop me a little one of these in the comments so I know. I'm going to get working on my Ferrari style deep dive, because I think that might be necessary. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you in whatever my next video is going to be. I think it's going to be an F1 arcade vlog. Love you, bye!